discussion on changing the constitution for parochial, selfish, personal matters is no space to go.
Is President William Ruto plotting to stay in power forever? Although the president has publicly denied any involvement in efforts to extend presidential terms from 5 years to 7 years, whispers from the political corridors suggest a different story, one that could leave Kenyans in shock. At the heart of the controversy is Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, who argues that the government needs more time to function effectively. His proposal seeks to amend the constitution, extending the presidential term to 7 years from 5 years.
The Kenya presidential election is always highly profiled as a result of it being conducted within a short period of time, thus making it a do-or-die adventure. The continuous campaign mood in the country has been occasioned by the perception that elections are held within the short period of 5 years. In any election period, we lose a whole year in campaigns, and another year is lost immediately after election because of the litigations in the Supreme Court, and thereafter transition period of new government settling down in the formation of new government, such as cabinet vetting by parliament and appointment of the same, including senior government officials. In total, we lose 2 years in a period of 5 years, leaving only 3 years for a president and new government to work. It is therefore justifiable to increase the presidential term limit to 7 years per term, totaling to 14 years, if someone is re-elected to office. I am cognizant that these proposals shall alter the governance structure as envisaged in the Constitution of Kenya, which in turn shall be subjected to public referendum or popular initiative as highlighted under Article 257 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. To the critics, let's meet in the contest, because our Constitution envisages amendment of the Constitution at any given time, so long as the threshold is met.
The same way we opposed BBI, because it was meant to achieve selfish, parochial, personal interests. We will oppose any move to change the Constitution. I will be at the front to say no to any change of the Constitution, to change term limit, to change things that benefit individuals. Here, that is unnecessary, that is uncalled for, and it is an exercise in futility, because it will not happen under my watch.
Despite distancing themselves from the proposal, President William Ruto and his cronies have called on lawmakers to focus on more pressing matters. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah dismissed the bill as dead on arrival, signaling that the leadership will not support it.
The discussion on changing the Constitution for parochial, selfish, personal matters is no space to go. I want to be very clear that as president, I will not participate in mutilating the Constitution for purposes of serving selfish, personal, parochial interests.
But beneath this public disapproval, new allegations have surfaced, hinting at covert maneuvering by powerful figures in the government. Kiambu Senator Karungo Thangwa, bitter over Gachagwa's recent impeachment, claims that elements within the government are quietly funding Cherargei's bill. What's more surprising, he alleges, is that the opposition legislatures from ODM are also involved, despite their public opposition to the proposal. Karungo argues that the bill is part of the NADCO report, a product of the bipartisan talks between President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga, suggesting deeper political maneuvers.
Yes, of course. It is a reaction to the 7-year proposal by the Senator of Nandi. And the reason why I'm doing this is because that he's not acting alone. I want you just to know that the same proposal is in the NADCO report. The NADCO report that was okayed by the OTM leader Raila Odinga and of course President Ruto, and the committee that was formed between both the National Assembly and the Senate. They have that proposal in the NADCO report. So when you see Cherarki coming up with this proposal, don't just wish him away. No, it is something that has been premeditated. And I want to ask you, Ken, can you handle the shenanigans that are going on within the government and within the leadership for another 1 year, leave alone 7 years? So that's why I decided today to call Kenyans, if they have ever thought of a day they would stand up for their nation and for their governance, this is the time. Because if we increase the term limit from 5 to 7, that means if you elect somebody, you're going to be that person 7 years. You're going to be that person for 7 years. If by any other mistake he's elected twice, it's 14 years. Meaning you go through primary, you go through higher education, you even go to the university with the same leadership.
Okay.
But again, what if you got the kind of...
In a bold counter move, Karungo is also drafting his own bill, seeking to reduce the presidential terms from 5 years to 4, adding further fuel to the political fire.
That promote transparency and limit the entrenchment of political power. This proposal disregards those struggles and aspirations. This amendment may serve as a diversion from pressing national issues such as economic challenges and governance failures, detracting from meaningful discourse on solutions that truly benefit our citizens. Now, with that, I have also proposed, after opposing the 7-year term, I have now proposed a different amendment to that issue. And what is my amendment? I'm proposing a 4-year term limit. 4 years, yes. Therefore, I'm moving an amendment that proposes a 4-year term limit for the President, members of Parliament, senators, governors, and members of county assemblies. Why 4 years? Because it enhances accountability, encourages political participation, it gives new leadership opportunities, it provides prevention of power consolidation, and of course adaptability in governance. It strengthens the democratic norms. A 4-year term empowers citizens to hold their leaders accountable more frequently. Voters deserve the right to evaluate their representatives and make necessary changes based on performance. Encouragement of political participation. Shorter terms can invigorate public interest in politics. When citizens know they can influence leadership decisions every 4 years, they are more likely to engage.
For those who do not know what the NADCO report is and what is inside the NADCO report, this is what is inside this report. Now, the NADCO report emerged from Ruto and Odinga's bipartisan agreement following the intense anti-government protest that rocked the country after the 2022 elections. Inside the report, it contains far-reaching proposals on governance, including introduction of the opposition leader's office, creation of the Prime Minister's position, Senate Oversight Fund, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, revival of the NG-CDF Constituency Development Fund. And according to Karungo Thangwa, it also contains the increase of the presidential term limit from 5 years to 7 years. But Karungo's revelations has fueled speculations that the government will be using the report as a cover to sneak through the contentious presidential term extension. Some fear that the executive might stage a repeat of the Motuse maneuver, referring to the Kibwezi MP who allegedly acted on the executive orders to initiate Deputy President Gachagwa's impeachment in Parliament. Many Kenyans now believe that the government may be running a sophisticated political con, pretending to oppose Cherargei's bill while secretly backing it to ensure it passes. The narrative of a carefully staged performance with Cherargei acting as a decoy has begun to gain traction among political observers. If these suspicions are true, President Ruto's denial might just be part of a larger plan to remain in power beyond the legal limits. Now the question is, will President William Ruto and his allies pull off this political chess move, or will they meet resistance from within Parliament and the public? For now, all eyes are on the unfolding drama as Kenyans wait to see if the bill will succeed or if Karungo's counter efforts will disrupt the game.